You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot
Let's
Box.
get started.
100%. Let's get into the game.
Rebuild.
Let's just talk briefly about the game. There's really not much to discuss. It played out exactly like every single game that had happened over the last 2 months since the bye week had happened. They were competitive for a little bit, and somewhat in that first half. They kept the game close. They couldn't get the offense, never got going. And that's what it seemed like was the case in every single one of these games. The offense just never got going, never got out of the starting blocks, similar to this podcast today. It just couldn't move the ball. But guess what? The alarm is back, and we move the ball, though. Okay, that's the thing. We move the ball. The coaching was horrible again in this game. We couldn't tackle. It looked like a lifeless team that did not want to be there. They didn't seem like a team that was ready to play in the playoffs or was excited to be involved in the playoffs or anything like that. I mean, Baker Mayfield had all day in that pocket again. And honestly, they had more sacks in this game, it felt like, than they've had in the last couple months. Really, I mean, excuse me, I don't know if the numbers would back that up, but it felt like, there was a couple situations where the defense stood up for a little bit, I mean, there's only so much they could do. I think for 3 quarters, they were pretty good. And then they kind of just collapsed after. I mean, Jalen Hurts takes one of the worst safeties. It seems like he really, in these big games, has one crucial mistake that is like backbreaking for us. That they couldn't get the tush push on that on when the guy goes offsides in the extra point.
Conversion.
Then they go for the 2-point. They can't get it because Vita Vea is just a fucking refrigerator on the line, and it's just hard to get by that man. And then we have that, we run that horrific Kenny Gainwell play where he runs backwards and takes like a 7-yard loss. And then the next play, Jalen's trying to make a play in the end zone and just takes a horrible sack. Well, I guess intentional grounding in the end zone where he just throws it away. But I mean, come on. Who didn't know what was happening there? And that, I mean, that was
threw
pretty
it
much
away
it.
right before. Yeah. No, that was it. I mean,
9-point game, it was over.
The first drive of the game, a 5-minute, 12-play, 65-yard drive, where we held them to a field goal. I felt like the game was over right there. We go 5 and out, getting like 20 yards. Then they score again. Then we go 3 and out. Then they score again. Then we score. Right, that drive was pretty good. The touchdown drive, where we actually scored a touchdown, was perfect. 5 yards, 75, 5 plays, 75 yards, 2.5 minutes. Like that's what we used to do, right? Julio Jones got a couple yards. What else? Then, DeAndre Swift, Devontae Smith. We finally hit a deep shot. Devontae Smith, 55 yards, and then the Dallas Goedert touchdown. That was a beautiful play, a little play action, play fake, boom, right there. So, like that drive looked like a semblance of a drive. Once that drive happened, I was like, all right, maybe we can, get a stop or hold them to a field goal and then score twice or something. Like we're not going to stop scoring at 9, and we did.
No,
we did. That's all. After that, I think it was the end of the half, and then we had back-to-back punts. I mean, so many punts and then the safety turnover on downs twice, and then just I mean, what more can you say? Just absolute pathetic.
Really, like I would like to act like usually when we have a playoff game or a big game, you go through and you break it down. But really, why should we sit here and waste our time breaking down a game that played out like a bad episode of a fucking sitcom that just is the same episode every single week? You tune in, you're like, oh, okay. The Eagles can't score again. They can't move the ball. Oh, the Eagles can't tackle anyone. They have their defense looks horrible. Guys are catching balls with 30 yards in between them on every single play. Why are we really all that, shocked by this or worried? It was, like a time and time again. It just kept happening over and over again. They blitzed again. Anyone who watches
every single time
knew that's all you have to do against this team is blitz. I know. I don't know if it's Jalen Hurts who doesn't know how to check out of play calls, or if I honestly think it's more coaching because the coaches have not prepared him for the blitz to come or have not helped him out with drawing up certain plays. I mean, there's like the screenshots of the different plays when they were bringing blitzes, and what he's looking at is insane. These guys are running the exact same route on the right side of the field, standing next to each other. Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert are standing next to each other, 30 yards down the field, and he just got to throw up like a jump ball and hope somebody knocks it down. Not even to make a play down the field, just hope that ball doesn't get intercepted. Like it was, he didn't turn the ball over this game, right? Other than no, really, he didn't fumble, he didn't throw any picks, right? That I can remember on the spot.
No. So no
turnovers. Other than the safety, that was the worst play of the game.
Yeah, and honestly, the game was probably over before that.
It didn't matter. That's the thing. Like, it doesn't matter. They weren't scoring. The defense was going to fall apart at some point.
Yeah. So same thing we've seen all year again. Random guys just getting chunk plays. Rachaad White was getting pretty much 6-7 yards every rush. Devin Tompkins gets one rush for 10 yards. Trey Palmer gets one rush for 9 yards. See what I mean? This happens every single play. Random guys. Kate Otten was open every single snap. Trey Palmer, David Moore, every single snap. David Moore is 28 years old. David Moore is 28 years old and has not played in the NFL in 2 seasons. In 2021, when he played for the Broncos, he had 2 targets all year, no catches. So he has not caught a pass since 2020 with the Seattle Seahawks. I remember when he was on the Seahawks. He was like a wide receiver 3. He was decent. I think he's from like East Central, Oklahoma State, Tech, A&M. He torched us. I mean, he only had 2 catches, 66 yards, and the touchdown, but and then Trey Palmer had that 56-yard touchdown. It seems like anytime he tweets that he woke up pissed off, he scores a touchdown.
I saw that.
Kind of crazy. LSU, Nebraska legend, by the way. Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. I mean, Mike Evans dropped the touchdown.
Mike Evans played one of his worst games I've ever seen, and that was keeping us in the game, him dropping touchdowns.
It didn't matter. No. Chris Godwin, I didn't see until the second half. Payne Durham had an 18-yard reception. Not sure who that is. Chase Edmonds, resurrected from the dead, had an 8-yard catch. They were just getting first downs, and they were getting chunk plays. They were getting 5-yard plays. They were getting 8-yard plays. They weren't having any negative plays. We weren't getting in the backfield early at all. Eventually, we started to play well. I mean, BG and Nolan Smith, shout out to them. They're the only guys who showed the fuck up, really, on defense. I guess Fletcher Cox, Milton Williams, I saw them do at least something.
Still dropping Reddick in coverage.
Love it.
Great.
Love it. We had 17 pressures. Fletch had 6 of them. Sweat only had 2. Milton Williams had 3. BG and Nolan Smith had 1, but they each had a sack. We had 5 sacks.
That's what I'm saying. That feels like a big number for what we were.
Absolutely.
The going rate.
But here's something I'll show you that people won't talk about. They always talk about how we had the best O-line in the league. The Bucs had 31 pressures last night, 4 sacks, hit the quarterback twice, 25 hurries. Kalijah Cansey was an absolute force in the middle. Jason Kelsey had probably one of his worst games ever. Not the best way to go out, but it's not this guy's fault. He's done literally quite everything he could have done since we drafted him in 2012, 2013 or something like that. So he was everywhere. Devin White had a good game. Vita Vea, Shaq Barrett, they were getting pressures. Joe Tryon Shoyinka had 4. Yaya Diaby in the pass rush was seemingly everywhere in the first half. Levante David had a couple of pressures. We were just getting blitzed, man. Quite literally and just metaphorically. We couldn't stop them at all. I don't know what these coaches are doing because we're getting blitzed and you're having your guys take forever to run their routes. You're having these long developing plays and they're setting the house. They're playing cover 0 or whatever it's called, 0 high. No safeties. They're not respecting us whatsoever.
No.
So a massive change needs to happen. There's definitely needs to be a shakeup on the roster. I saw people saying, what can we get for AJ Brown? I'm not sure if that's the move, but I guess we can get a first-round pick for him. Why not? I guess. I don't know. I'm not attached to any.
What are you going to do with that, though? That's
right.
I would trade him if I viewed him if he really was truly the cancer that we thought he was at the end of the year. Then,
but I don't think he is.
I don't think he. I think there's much bigger issues than him.
Yeah, I think the O-line is going to need some help. I think we need to get some kind of semblance of a third receiver. We don't even have that, or a second tight end. Having it drafting taking somebody like a Tucker Kraft, like the Packers did when they already invested in Musgrave. Great move. They have 45 receivers, all their young receivers, Dobbs, Wicks, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson. Like they have a bunch of young options. We need to get somebody else, like a backup tight end, a swing tight end receiver, somebody in like the mid rounds. But a lot of it's going to come on the defensive side. I mean, I don't even know where to start on the defensive side. The linebackers are bad, but they're being like, you got to remember, you brought Zach Cunningham in like September, and he's like, I mean, he had a good game, but he also had a bad game. Like he missed a bunch of tackles. I mean, the team itself.
Nick Morrow was running behind guys the whole game.
Nick Morrow, again, he was a special teamer for the Bears, and he played pretty well all in all this year.
But did you see Shaq Leonard out there? I didn't see him once. I mean, I know he was out there, but they didn't notice him whatsoever.
He did not play one snap.
Really? Okay, well, there you go.
He did not play one snap. No, he did not play at all.
Goes to show you. And he's the one, he's got the balls to be like, yeah, I have a lot to decide. You have to decide whether you should retire or go play on someone's practice squad or not, buddy. It's over.
Yeah, it's just like, Kevin Byard, since we traded for him, I haven't noticed him at all. So that didn't work. I thought Keely Ringo and Nolan Smith were the only young players to show flashes. Keely Ringo finally got into the game after the first quarter when Bradbury got benched, but he was still playing after the second quarter. Bradbury was.
Dude, honestly, it's not even really for me with Bradbury. As much as I think he's cooked and it's his ability, he did not want to be out there. What it seemed
Darius
like.
Slade didn't want to be out there.
No,
you could tell by his moving around, he didn't want to be out there. I don't think Kevin Byard wanted to be out there. Jalen Carter got absolutely stonewalled. He missed a couple tackles. I don't think anybody wanted to be out there besides Brandon Graham and Nolan Smith. Lead by example rookie and the lead by example vet, which is, both of them have to come back next year in a high role. I guess Nolan Smith and BG, they should kind of be, lumped together off that edge. Like BG's going to play less. Nolan Smith's got to play more, but and they're very similar. It seems like in some ways.
Yeah.
I wouldn't bring Fletch back, but if it's cheap, why not? I don't even know where you go. What do you even do at linebacker? Because I don't know if I'd bring any of these guys back. Maybe you bring back one just to be a warm body. And then you have to look at the DBs. I mean, who do you bring back there besides Blankenship?
And he wouldn't even be number one on my. I mean, he's just like a depth guy. It seems like. I mean, you obviously he showed that you need him, but we need serious help in the linebacker core, and just they need to actually, for once, take serious consideration in that. That needs to be a focus for the offseason. I don't know if you go out, you sign a Devin White or something like that, just to kind of give you an outside line. Like you need to dedicate some sort of resources to it, because getting guys off the scrap heap is obviously not working. And I think you're going to need to go out and either get some extra defensive line help, some extra help off the edge, because those guys that you have weren't doing it. Maybe I would trade Josh Sweat. I would try to get out from underneath that. Or if it's really just the defensive scheme, then we need to bring someone in here that's going to get the most out of these guys. We're going to talk about all that in a second. I did just want to put this game to rest.
You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box.